appear clouds, you may think, oh no, it's going to storm. You see, like this. And so you see those blue clouds on the horizon, but if you see this same spot after it's been a cloudy day like that all day, and it's pretty miserable outside, if then you come into a spot where there's blue sky and clouds, you have a whole different opinion of them, don't you? You think, oh great, it's breaking up. Finally we're going to have some sunlight. Even though you might not get any sunlight, I mean, only if you're going to be under that blue bit for a little while. It's interesting our different perceptions of clouds. You know, this time of year, well, right here, see, there's still some trees that have not lost their leaves yet. They've turned. But I woke up this morning, and I think perhaps yesterday, and there were no leaves anymore. They were all on the ground. And it was such a shock to see that bare forest. And so my immediate reaction was, you know, but if you can watch the ground, when the leaves are blowing, this is very windy today, and there's some leaves blowing. You can see there on the side of the road. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But if you can notice the leaves as they blow, and you can, you'll be able to recognize what trees they're from. You'll see the different shapes, you know, maple or oak or smaller leaves, depending what they are, right? You probably recognize them as being from those same trees. And you can watch them blow around. You can watch not just the whole group of leaves blowing, but you can watch the individual leaf. Watch just one leaf and see how it spins and trips and falls over itself. You know, like when you see maple seeds fall, you know, they come down like a little helicopter. They spin around and around and around. Oh, these of course don't do that. I'm coming out into the blue sky area where we're having sunshine, even if it's just for a minute. I'm showing you these leaves. It's not a very good example of leaves blowing, but it is blowing very hard out there. Anyways, you can watch the leaves. It won't be as bad when you see the leaves falling off the tree. And then, of course, now when it's cloudy and rainy and you think, oh, it's an awful day, it's so miserable and dreary outside. If that's the way you're thinking about it, then perhaps you need to... Should I get from that lane? No, I think I'll wait. Perhaps you need to... The car up ahead of this truck has got his brakes on. If it's dreary, there we go, and rainy, and the leaves on the ground are all sticking together, and they're sticking to the ground, and the ground is a little slippery now, instead of bemoaning the fate, your fate, now there's no more leaves, oh no, there's leaves are gone, and we have only bare trees. You could study those leaves that are on the ground. See how they sit. Do they lay flat on each other? Or do they stand on end? Are two of them pushed up against each other to make it look like a roof? Like an upside down V? See the pattern of the leaves. And see, it would be interesting also, I love it when the leaves are on the ground under a tree, but they're still on the tree too, so that you see a beautiful big orange tree and then you see the orange on the ground under it. That's very short-lived though. If you have a hard frost, forget it, they all fall. Or a hard freeze, I guess is what they call it. There I go, past that truck. These trucks keep going in and out of each other continually. go on the ground. You have feelings about that. You have the sense of loss, first of all. You know, we see green leaves in the trees, and we get used to seeing green leaves in the trees. But you never see the whole ground carpeted in green leaves. These are flying around. See, those were tossed by the two trucks. Okay, well now what I was going to tell you about, what's the time? Okay, what I was going to tell you about the leaves coming off the trees is that when the trees are now bare, instead of bemoaning your fate, oh how terrible, there's no more leaves on the trees, now you have an opportunity to see what's been happening while everything was covered up. You couldn't see the bird nests. You could see certain birds in a certain area. You'd hear certain songs whenever you were in a certain area. But you wouldn't be able to see the bird's nest, not unless you were very keen. I'm going to go back into that lane. So, once the leaves are off the trees, then you have a real opportunity to study the trees. You can see the way the trees have grown. You can see how much has grown this year. You can see, I got behind a car here that's going very slow. You can look at the shape of the tree and see how it creates a crown. The outside of the tree will be round. After the ice storm, the crowns all broke off. All the ends of all the trees broke off, and so you had these poodle trees, or just sticks, which became poodle trees, little clumps of new branches. But here, oops, sorry about that. But here you can see the tops of the trees, how they're all nicely rounded. They're all filled right out. You don't really appreciate that until you have poodle trees or stick trees after the ice storm or something. See how nicely rounded they are? And those are some things that you can study about trees when the leaves are gone. You can study the leaves, you can study the bark, you can compare the bark on the different kinds of trees. I think I've already told you this on one video long ago, one of my first ones. Okay, well that's about it. Bye.